Welcome back, people. So yesterday was Dutch Open in Holland, and I brought this deck with me. And yes, I did win some games, and I will tell you all about it. I will tell you all about it went. But let me first let me just show you the deck that I brought, why, and how it actually works. Or well, not really works, but I did got some really wins. So first off, we play. Well, the first, let me tell you about the deck. The deck is a full Legend of Blue Eyes deck. So every card in this deck is only made of or with cards of the Legend of Blue Eyes set. So, for instance, Skull Red Bird. Skull Red Bird is one of the highest attack monsters, and with a bit of a buff, it can get over 1850. And this card, yes, it killed some monsters. So we have 3 Skull Red Birds because it's just the biggest monster there is in this set. Next up is the second biggest monster, and that is Urabi. So we have a kind of a winged beast dinosaur package because we have because then these are the biggest beaters you can make. So next up we have Celtic Guardian. I put Celtic Guardian in because of the reason that I have Fiend Reflection number 2, and that card is 1100. With the buff, it becomes 1400. So why just not run Celtic Guardian? You have still a resource in your hand instead of making a Celtic Guardian that is probably worse. And this card actually dealt like how much damage? 4200 damage to the opponents to the yesterday. So yes, it was very fun to summon Celtic Guardian and attack. So next up we have 3 Tyhone. Tyhone against again a winged beast. It's 1200 attack. With a buff, it's 1500. It is something. This card actually dealt damage to my opponent too. It attacked, I think, 3 times against their face. It was very funny. And even he attacked it into the fence and took 600 damage. I play 1 Fiend Reflection number 2. This will probably be swapped around for something else, like maybe another Celtic Guardian, or Manny the Bug, or something else. Next up are 2 Mammoth Graveyard. This is the last attacker. Mammoth Graveyard is a dinosaur card that you can buff with the spell card to make him a 1500 beater if you have something to draw. You see that we have a lot of monsters, and that's the bad thing about the deck. If you draw too many monsters in your opening hand, you're dead. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Next up, we have some effect monsters. We have 3 Hainhains. I played 3 Hainhains, and this card did so much things. This card won me the match, and this card also almost won me by the final 8th round match. This card is very good. This card, it says when this card is flipped, target a monster on your opponent controls and return it to the owner's hand. So this card is very good. In the slower matches, it's crazy. It sounds weird, but this card actually just rocks. I also played 1 Manager Bug. This card, I played 3 Manager Bugs, but because this card says destroy and a lot of things have protection nowadays of destruction, this card is not that great, and you rather want to play Hain than Many. Then we have 2 monsters left. Those are Giant Soldier of Stone, a 2k defense card. Sadly, this card got bounced way too many times to my hand, but this card also won me the game because of his 1300 attack thing. I just swapped into attack and battled the opponent. And the last monster is actually a monster I have to swap out, and that is Aquamador. Aquamador is in here also because it's a 2k beater or a 2k defense guy, but you can rather play 2 Giant Soldier of Stone because it has 100 more attack. Then we go to the spells where these cards are the thing you can actually win with. Of course, there are 3 Raigeki because Raigeki is legal at 3, and it is played in the it is an LOB card. Um, what you want to do is you always want to go second, and you actually want to have a god opening hand, which happens a decent a lot, because Regeki destroys all your opponent's monsters. So the next card does the same thing, but is a little bit worse, but not if you're going second, and that is Dark Hole. Dark Hole destroys all monsters on the field, so not only your opponents. This can actually hurt when you're in the stall game, because you do not want to set too many cards, but you do not also want to set too less of a card. Because of my game 3, I couldn't set too less cards and not too many cards. But Dark Hole is a card you want to see in your opening hand, because this card won me games. Yes, it won me games. Let me tell you. Next up is 3 Fissure, the only other destroy card you have in at the LOB set. This card just destroys the face-up lowest attack position monster your opponent controls. This card got rid of Rafflesia so many times, like 3 times yesterday at locals, or not locals, at the Dutch Open. Next up are 3 Swords of Revealing Lights. If this card can work, this card is crazy. It's so cool. In my last round, I stopped my opponent for 7 turns with this card, because he was a traptrix player and he just couldn't find his traptrix card that is, if special summons, pops a back row. So this card it makes your opponent unable to attack for 3 turns. So it was very funny to see them struggle. And this card, sadly, it didn't stick a long time on the field, because everybody just could banish it easy. And then for the last actually good spell, it's Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn won me the first ever round. I will tell you everything about how the Dutch Open went. Yes, it won me actually. This won me my first round I could have. And next up are just some buff spells, like 3 Raised Body Heat. It raises the attack of and defense of a dinosaur monster by 300 if when equipped. So, yep, it's not that great, but it is something, I guess. And for last but not least, it is Follow Wind. Follow Winds does the same thing as Raise Body Heat, but only for winged beast monsters. Nothing much to say. This can make your Skull Red Bird 1850 and can attack over the rank to or link to a monster of the Traptrix. Next up, I played 1 field spell Mountain. It raises the attack and defense of dragon, winged beast monsters, and thunder type monsters by 200. And I never seen this card. I mostly decided it out. I just play 1 field spell just because, so you can actually hopefully attack over 2k meters. And last but not least, I played 3 Treble, the only interesting card that maybe can see play, but sadly Treble I could never use this card, and sadly Traptrix monsters can't be affected by Treble. Even if you use the French card Trappe, it's not a Treble. It's still a Treble card, sadly. Um, but but this card I never came up, but I was also always happy to see the card in my opening hand. So we do not have an extra deck because of Kastira. Because if you have an extra deck, Kastira can how do you say it? They can lock your whole board, and that's not what you want. So let's just go straight into my tokens. There's nothing special. Every time I was fighting to an opponent, I said, here are our tokens. If you need them, just take them. Don't ask. You can just use them if you want. But yes, tokens. And last but not least, the side deck. The side deck needs to be changed a bit, and I will tell you all about it. So for funsies, because I had 1 spot left, I played 1 Dark Magician. Never sided it in. I could have sided it in, but it's just way too hard of a brick. But it was just here for fun. Next up, we have a very interesting card in this meta, and definitely in this deck. It's card the Reaper of the Cards. This card is a tribute summon monster, and yes, I tribute summon this card twice. And when this card is flipped, target one face down or set spell and trap card and flip it face up. If it is a trap, destroy it. If it's not, just return it face down. So this card actually won me the game against the Trap Tricks opponent. And I will tell you all about it a bit later. But this is only here just for trap decks. Next up is the first ever skill drain-ish card. It's a Dragon Capture Jar. This card makes it that if your opponent plays a dragon deck, all dragon cards are put to defense position. So it is something. It will probably never come up, but sure, right? Why not? Everybody loves the first ever flood. Then we have two remove trap. This card just destroys one phase of trap card on the field, so it's more for Eldritch players or people that play floodgates. It doesn't really do much else, but it is something. Next up, we have one stop defense. Stop defense is a card you probably want to play two of, so you probably can cut the Dark Magician. But I just couldn't see me. It was just not possible to buy a stop defense before the tournament started. It was nowhere to be found, and actually I do not want to buy it yet because the LOB set is coming out in July, and I would really want to just pull it from that set. Same goes for Final Flame. I played these cards because I didn't have 3 Final Flame, but you also always want to play 3 Final Flame because this card deals 600 damage to your opponent. This own Sparks only does 200, and Hinotama only does 500. So Final Flame does just 100 more than Hinotama, and it just helps really, really good. And the last card in the side deck is Gravedigger's Ghoul. I've never seen the card, but it's an interesting card to have. You select 2 monsters in your opponent's graveyard and then remove them from play. That means banish, by the way. Yeah, it is a card you can play. I sided it in against every Trap Tricks opponent that I had because you can just banish some monsters that they can reuse to pop some back row or get rid of some other cards, maybe some monsters, or get them some more advantages like Dianea. But I sadly never seen it and never could make use of the cards. So this was the whole deck. I had so much fun. Because I won 3 rounds with this deck. Yes, actually, I got 3-5 with this at the Dutch Open. So let me tell you about all the games that I had. So the first game that I had, so game 1 was against a full punk deck. This was my opening hand, so this was a strong opening hand, but I only had one problem, and that one problem was I have no normal summon monsters, but I have some defense. So my opponent wins the dice roll, and he goes first. So my opponent just goes first, and he does his thing, and he just builds a kind of an interesting board. So he built a board which I had to read his cards actually, but I didn't. So I draw for turn, and I draw for turn my Urabi. So I have this monster. So keep in mind, Punk always stops with 5,000 life points. So I only have to do 5,000 life points left. So what I play is a Fissure. It destroys the slowest monster on the field. Then I play Dark Hole, because Dark Hole is way better to use when you have no monsters, because it destroys all monsters, and always monsters are gone. So I just normal summon Urabi and attack for 1500, and wait, this wasn't a raised board heat, it was a trap hole. My apologies. And I set my trap hole. So he flips one of his face downs to pop my back row, and he pops my trap hole. He draws for turn, he had nothing left, and he just sets a random card. He sets a random card, and he has one more back row. So I draw for turn, and I draw Monster Reborn. So I activate Raigeki. I destroy his. It was an Ash Blossom. I destroy his Ash Blossom that he set. I look at his graveyard. I activate Monster Reborn, targeting his 3000 monster, and he said, "Yep, that's game." So yes, I won the first round with this deck that I could ever play. It was crazy round. So the next the next two rounds, he won against game one against me because he let me go first, and I was like, "Yep, that's my downfall. I just can't go first." I didn't see. I only set just I think I only set one raise body heat and a no, a giant soldier of stone, but he just got rid of it and he won that way. And game two, I didn't open anything. I couldn't destroy his board. I opened one fissure and four normal monsters, and that's game. Yep, couldn't do anything about it. Round two was against Kashira, which I had a decent opening hand. I had two fissures. Let me look for it. I had two fissures and just a bunch of normal monsters and nothing else. Oh no, I had two normal monsters and a treble, and I drew another normal monster for turn. So he builds his board. It's only one Rise Heart set to pass. So I activate a fissure on his Rise Heart, but he protects it, and I couldn't do anything else. So I just set a monster and passed turn, and he just clapped me. I could have used treble, so I actually used it once, but that's it. That wasn't much more. And game two, he owned me too, and he had so much fun playing against my deck. Everybody that I played with was like, "What are you playing?" And they loved it very much. But sadly, I lost games one and two, and I didn't get any round wins. But it is what it is, you know. And after that, we just played some more Go duels, and because I brought my Go deck with me, I was like, you know, I will probably play 3 matches, and the fourth match, my opponent will probably don't show up. I just drop and then goes to the goat side defense. But I had a lot of opponents. So game three was against, I don't know. Yeah, game three was the most amazing game I had because of the fact that my opponent didn't knew he was playing trap tricks and he didn't know what his deck did. So I just played his deck for him. I didn't see his hand, but I just said things like, okay, so your normal summon, I think Marmello is it, to search the trap. Do you have the do you have Holotea in hand? He said yes. And I said so you search another trap card that you want to discard and get back later. So he searched that trap card. Then I said you make trap chicks, the Sarah. Then you set Holotea, activate Holotea, special summon Dianea, set back the card you had, and I just played his deck for him, and he just beat me 2-0 because I played for him. So I actually won, but I won against myself. Okay. So that was game three. There was not much to do, but I maybe could have won that round, but it was just so much fun to play for him. So I lost the first three games, and round four is up. So round four, I played against Melvis, and I won game one. And why I did win game one, didn't have really a great he didn't have a great hand, and I had a decent hand. I had a lot of beefy monsters like Urabi. I got one Hain in my hand. I got a Raigeki in my hand, and I had a Monster Reborn in my hands. So this was my hand, and I drew for turn a Chapel. So he didn't have the great hand. He only ended on, I think it was only a Joyous Melfi and a Melfi Ketty. So I just in the standby phase, that was it. So I just Raigeki this board, and there was nothing much, and I just summoned Urabi, and I attacked him, set Chapel, and I passed my turn. He couldn't do anything else, so I just drew for turn. I just think I just drew a Mammoth Graveyard summon Mammoth Graveyard, and I just attacked for game, and he just couldn't do anything else. In his end phase, he just drew. In his end phase, he special summoned Melfi Wally, and I drew nothing, I think. Or I drew a monster. I played Fissure, destroy his Melfi Wally, set Hein, battle phase, attack. He had almost 0 life points left. He drew for turn, I think it was Obedience Schooled. He made some plays. He destroyed something. He destroyed my whole board, I think. And then I had still one Hein left. And what was it again? I think I drew for turn Aquamador. It was. I think this is how the game went. And I did nothing. I just set Aquamador. Then he proceeded to in my standby phase. By the way, he popped my back row by summoning back cannon Tosa because of Joyce Melfi. Oh, I still have my these two in end, by the way. I still have these two in end. So he attacked against my Hein. I bounced back his because in his turn he again made Joyce Melfi attack my Hein. I bounced back Joyce Melfi's. Hein goes to the graveyard. And I drew for turn was I think Raigeki was I drew for turn to just destroy his monster, flip up my Aquamador, and attack his life points for game. So that was game 1. Game 2 went almost exactly the same, but I drew more Raigekis. I drew 1 Fissure, and I drew like these were the cards I drew, kind of ish, but it was a longer game because I drew also 3 Trapples, and he banished my Trapples with Cosmic Cyclones. So he actually made his hand or his life points lower by every time banishing my Trapples that I set. Because I set my Trapples every time I set them once because I couldn't use them much. And it was exactly the same, but this time Giant Soldier of Stone also came in. Because Melfis only react on normal summon and special summon, not on flip summon. So what you actually can do is just set Giant Soldier of Stone or set Hein. You can flip summon them and they can't react to that. So with all these destruction cards, drawing them and playing them just the right way, I actually won game 4 against Melfis. Just because I knew how to play against Melfis, and well, you can't do anything much against this as Melfis. And he also didn't play Melfi Hide and Seek that protects them from destruction. So yes, actually I won my first game with this deck. It was crazy. And it was so fun. So game 5 was against Marincess. And I got clapped so hard in game 5 against Marincess just because Marincess are unaffected. And when I activated Fissure, he said, I'm unaffected. I was like, I can't do anything. I can't Hein him. I can't Skill Red Bird him because I can't go over 4,000 with only my. Most of it is it's 2k 50. Okay, I just couldn't. So there was nothing much about that. So game 6 was my next win. And I won that game because my opponent just didn't show up. That's it. My opponent didn't show up. So the opponent of me and my person next to me just didn't show up. And I was like, bro, you want to fight? You want to duel together? And so we had to wait for the judge to come to say, okay, you can now fight against each other for fun. And that was my second win. So game 6. No, games. That was game 6. So game 7 was against ABC. What was it? It was against ABC, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Tyrion, a junk pile that was fucking amazing because he made a lot of negations. So I was like, Fissure, I want to fissure you, and I was like, sure. Oh, and Punk. I saw Punk, and I was like, oh my god, am I gonna win a round again? But he just played the package, and I was like, ooh. And I was like, Dark Hole. He was like, negate. I was like, Reggae, and he was like, negate, and I was like, normal summon, Gelding Guardian, attack over one of your monsters. And he was like, sure, effect. And I was like, okay, I'm dead. So I got like 0-2'd. I got killed so hard there. I couldn't do anything in that round. And he was like, dude, you want to win? I was like, sure. And he was like, here, I give you these matches for free, okay? And I was like, thank you. And my 8th round was the most exciting round ever, and that was against Traptrix. It was against a person from my locals that I knew because I liked it against all day I played against people I did not ever see and never know, and it was so amazing to make those people happy. And that was the first guy I made sad because game 1 I lost against a very hard grind game because I know how to play against Traptrix. I only know that I don't. I hopefully I can summon Skull Red Bird for free without it being banished by Trap Hole, by Bottomless Trap Hole, so he can activate Sarah. So he made Rafflesia. Sarah set to pass. That was his end board, and I had Fissure in hand. So I Fissure for Rafflesia because Rafflesia says other Traptrix monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. So I destroy his Rafflesia, and then I proceeded to Dark Hole his other monster, is Sarah. So I could easily summon Skull Red Bird and attack for 1550. He had nothing, the draw for turn. So I sadly had a lot of trap holes that I drew. So I just set one trap hole and I just attack him again. This time he had his combos again. He had Holotea, and Holotea is just crazy, just Holotea effect, and he just goes off, and he just OTKs me sadly. He also wanted to also make almost illegal plays, but that was in game 3. So I lost game 2. I sided in my against Traptrix. I sided out all of my trap balls because they don't do anything, and I sided in all the burn spells that I could imagine, plus the stop defense. And I also sided in these 3 because these are crazy against trap decks, and because I can stall a lot. These cards can actually work and win minigame. So what you side out is these for the trap holes and some mountain you side out. You side out Fiend Reflection number 2, and you side out. I think I sided out one Mammoth Graveyard, one defense card like Aquamador, and I also sided out one Mammoth Graveyard for all these cards. So game 2 is up, and I have exactly the same hand again. He goes first because I let him go first because I can choose, and he makes actually again the same board as last time, and I have exactly the same cards. But he has 0 follow-up, and he did not have he didn't have the trap card to summon back. I think he did have it. Because he just summoned Pudica effect, search field spell, normal summon Dianea, I think. No, he didn't have, yeah, he normal summoned Dianea. Well, he of course made Sarah, normal summoned Dianea, and then overlay those 2 for Rafflesia. Oh no, he had Parallel Exceed, that was it. That was game 3. So he had Parallel Exceed, made Rafflesia, set to pass. And I had exactly the same hand as last time, but this time I had a Urabi. No, I had a Celtic Guardian. Yes, that was it. I had a Celtic Guardian, and of course I had Dark Hole, Fissure. I didn't have Raigeki yet, and I didn't have Monster Report in this match. And I had here they come, the Source of Revealing Light, and another Hein, I think. in hands. Um, so I don't know what I drew for turn. I think I drew the um, this guy for turn. So I just exactly did the same thing. I just Fissure, Dark Hole, Celtic Guardian, and Sword for Revealing Light in his turn, and I just attacked him for 14. He didn't have any trap cards he could have responded with, and I just beat him down every turn. He did came back because he drew Holotea, activate Holotea. Well, he does a spiel. I said Hein. He destroys my Celtic Guardian, but I had way more monsters. I had like Tyhone that attacked that turn for 2400 at least. Um, and so I flipped Hein, I think. I bounced his card back. And I tribute the Reaper of the cards. And we just went back and forth because I summoned Tyhone, attack a lot. And then I flipped this guy. I targeted his background. He said, "You win this." He couldn't do anything. I just attacked for game, and that's it. It was crazy. And game three, I drew nothing. I drew literally nothing. I drew four normal monsters, like one Tyhone, one Celtic Guardian, one Mammoth Graveyard, one Urabi, and one buff spell, the wind buff spell I drew. Um, and yeah, I drew for turn. I think maybe a Hein or like discard. It was I couldn't do anything. I just normal summoned. I normal summoned Urabi, and he bottomless me, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I passed turn, and he just OTK'd me. Oh no, wait, he didn't. In this, I misplayed very hard because of the fact that I had Monster Reborn in hand. So um, I remember this Monster Reborn in hand. Where is it? I can't find Monster Reborn. Well, just say this is Monster Reborn, okay? So I Monster Reborn his Purika, and I special summon my Purika, and I activate Purika effect, and I target Redoer, but I shouldn't target Redoer. I should have targeted Reflesia, because then Reflesia came back with zero materials, and he had only Sarah and Redoer on field. So then I could have used I could just attack over Sarah for free, or he had to use his Redoer. That's how I misplayed, but I just couldn't do anything that game. It was a GG, but I did manage to get another win in a round with this deck. It was crazy. So I went 3-5 with this deck. I had a lot of fun. It was amazing. I had so much fun. People came up to me and they say, "Bro, good job. You're amazing. That's so much fun." People asked, "How do you actually win?" And I told them, "Well, you go second. You hopefully, of course, draw enough, like at least a Fissure, Dark Hole, a Raigeki, or the best cards you can draw are, of course, Raigeki and or Dark Hole. And if you have a bad hand, you play hopefully it's Fissure, Dark Hole, or Fissure, Raigeki. Hopefully one good beat stick monster, and maybe a trap hole and a Sword of Revealing Lights to stall, or to make your opponent choose between a trap card they can destroy, or like this is an amazing opening hand, and hopefully you draw into a Skull Red Bird, uh, because they are probably gonna destroy this card, so you have more follow up or something else. Like this is an amazing hand, so you can of course just Dark Hole Raigeki is board, because Dark Hole is to get mostly negated. Then I have another Raigeki. Then you normal summon. Then you attack for 1500. Then you set a trap card, and maybe hopefully stall, draw. Hopefully draw into more Raigeki, more monsters, and that's how you actually win. And of course, you have to play smart. Like I said, against a Melfi player, luckily I knew how Melfi's worked and how Melfi's played, because I play Melfi myself. It's my favorite deck. So it was very interesting to work around those decks. But this was the deck I bring I played with yesterday at Dutch Open. It was amazing to see new faces, new people, and thank you all for all the people that loved playing against this deck. Um, they really, really liked it, and thank you all for everything. It was amazing. Thank you all. Goodbye.